Joining me on the program now from Christian Savings, Grant Marshall. Grant, kia ora, good morning.
Morning, Andrew. How are you?
I'm doing very well indeed. Now, for a lot of people, they'll go, hey, investing in housing, that's the beginning and the end of my financial plan. There are other options out there, but historically, perhaps, housing has seemed relatively stable compared to the volatility and the risks of other types of investment. Would that be fair?
I think that would be quite fair to say, Andrew. But I think conversely, what we're also seeing now is that the safest houses mantra we've heard for years, and the kind of anecdotal financial figures that go with it. Oh, every 7 to 10 years, your house price is going to double. That just hasn't held up lately, has it?
Yeah.
And we've come to realize that housing is just another form of investment that carries its own set of risks, and it's not exactly risk-free as it's been made out to be.
And certainly with the rents dropping at the moment, there seems to be, if anything, an oversupply of housing stock. Everybody jumping into hey, let's demolish one house, build 7, particularly in some urban centres. Not the investment it used to be, but for people that are going, well, okay, let's not have all our eggs in that basket. Let's diversify. What are the other options, Grant?
Well, you've actually got quite a lot of options, and really, what this comes down to is what are your goals with investment? So, a lot of people will jump into a house because one, you do need a place to live,
Yep.
and it's quite a good thing to do that. Say you can pay your house off and have it is yours. You don't have to pay anywhere to live when you retire.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's your only strategy, what about income during retirement? Have you thought about that? So, are you playing a game that way? Alternatively, people might be sitting there thinking around, well, what do I need to do to get to a house or to find that? Or am I trying to build capital for an investment in a business or something else that I want to do? So really it comes down to what are your goals,
Mm-hmm.
and thinking about what is your risk tolerance? How tolerant are you to risk? Are you one of those people that can't sleep at night if you've got your money sitting in shares and you worry about it going up and down?
Yeah.
Or are you one of those people that's really willing to take a lot of risk and can sleep comfortably with it? It comes down to those two main questions. So when you've answered those two big questions, you've got a range of opportunities, right? If we start on the lower risk end of the spectrum, you could put your money on deposit with the bank,
Yep.
and that's normally the safest one, right? It's generally accessible, but you get paid a lower return for that. And currently, with the depositor guarantee scheme coming in with the government, first $100,000 of any deposit generally is covered by that
Mm-hmm.
scheme now, which makes it a lot safer as an investment. But again, you pay a price for that with a lower return.
Yeah.
Got plenty of other options around things like KiwiSaver. So me and my wife, we both are part of KiwiSaver, but we also have made a conscious choice to make additional contributions to that so that we can have a more comfortable retirement,
Mm-hmm.
which it seems to be coming closer and closer by the day as I lose more and more hair. I feel like I'm getting closer and closer to 65.
Yeah.
But you've got managed funds that you could put money in, which, a KiwiSaver is locked in until you're 65, but you
Mm-hmm.
might be able to get yourself a managed fund that you could have similar levels of returns, but perhaps a little bit more access to your money.
Yeah, that access thing is so important in that regard because, you're planning for probably the best possible outcome. But if suddenly you need money for something that you hadn't planned for, if that's locked in until you're 65, I mean, yeah, I know there's get out clauses and those sorts of things, but the peace of mind of saying, you know what, if I need the money, it's a phone call, I can access that. There's peace of mind that comes with that as well.
There sure is, but that's a blessing and a curse as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the blessing of knowing I've got it if I want it, but the curse is, well, maybe I'll just pull it out now for this thing and that thing, and
Yeah.
you end up drifting from the goal of what you were saving for. So, as long as you know yourself well, that you won't do that. I know myself quite well, and if I do put money in another account, that account seems to get drained very quickly.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I like the idea of it not being as accessible, but that's me, and that might not be everyone.
That's the idea of a mixed investment, and you mentioned managed funds beforehand, of doing this with a trusted advisor, somebody who can talk to you about your priorities, your goals, and how risk averse you are, and then custom make something for you. Of course, they're going to clip the ticket on that. But is that in itself a worthwhile investment, in your opinion, Grant?
Advice is sometimes worth its weight in gold. I mean, if you get good advice on buying a property, we do this when we buy properties, right? We go and spend thousands of dollars on registered valuations to confirm that the price we're going to pay is right.
Mm-hmm.
We get thousands of dollars spent on building reports to tell us that the house is safe and stable and that there's no issues. And then we get all these other fancy reports from council and government just to confirm that there's not going to be a flood and all that coming through. But yet we're willing to take an absolute gamble on a company on the share market without any investment or advice. So I think really getting some good advice is not a bad idea. And quite frankly, it could save you thousands in the long run, because investing on a gut feel is not always the strategy, and hope and a prayer is not always a great strategy. We should pray, and absolutely as Christians, what we're called to do, but God also gave us a brain to use, and he gave us other people who are incredibly smart and talented in areas to talk to. So I think we need a balance.
I'm glad you mentioned with its weight in gold, because not only is my weight increasing, but the price of gold is going through the roof at the moment. And if for some people, having something tangible to say, look, it's going to hold its value in theory, although like any commodity, it goes up and down, but at least it's tangible rather than Bitcoin, right?
I still can't really get my head around what you're buying when you get a Bitcoin. And that for me just puts me off straight away. I'm like, I don't really know how I would get it out or do it. And I've just seen far too many scams of the next influencer is always trying to say, I've got this great coin. It's another one launched every day. And I'm just wondering how honest these investments are. So for me, I'm put off straight away, but other people are a bit more willing to take risks for that. For me, the idea of owning gold, I wonder if for some people saying it's investing in something tangibly, do they really want the gold sitting in their house, or they're quite happy to have it stored somewhere for them? Under the mattress with a bar of gold? I'm sure that would attract its own risks, depending where you live.
Exactly. And hey, of course, it says in the Bible that treasures in heaven. You know what I mean? That gold here on earth or treasures in heaven, which segues nicely to Christian savings, a little bit of both in that regard. A return on your investment. It is a balanced investment. You can go in and say, hey, these are my goals. There's different terms and conditions, but it's also treasures in heaven, in that you're literally building the kingdom of God, right?
Agree more, and not just because I work for Christian Savings, but because really we are a flywheel in the kingdom of God. We connect depositors with projects that are going on in churches and Christian charities around the country, and there are a lot of buildings and churches and charities that might not really exist or have the impact they do today without our depositors and us as Christian Savings being able to fund them. So look, if you're kingdom minded and you've got a penchant for ethical investments and you want to make a difference with your money and earn a good return, have the best of both worlds, why not consider Christian Savings and putting your money on deposit with us? We pay pretty good rates and deposits, slightly above market, and you can do a lot of good in the kingdom.
Certainly, and it is, circling back to where we started, it is bricks and mortar investment, really, because a lot of this is for churches, for Christian charities to be able to say, hey, we need this new facility. Our children's church is going gangbusters. We don't have the room for all of the children coming to our church, which is a great problem to have. But actually, Christian Savings can step into that space with people's investment. Of course, christiansavings.co.nz. This isn't an infomercial. Check out the details. Do your due diligence. But certainly, as you look to diversify your investment portfolio, something to prayerfully consider. Grant, thank you so much for the work you do. Thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thank you very much, Andy. Always a pleasure.
Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.